Welcome back to the show, everybody. Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. We got it for you. It's right here. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter or YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, it's $1.19 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency, and the market is off by 0.7%. I just want to say it was a whirlwind of the last few days. I know I wasn't able to make content. I missed you guys. I know people told me at the conference, they're like, where are your videos at? I was like, look, I have to focus on this conference and making sure we deliver an undeniable experience for everyone, and I believe we achieved that together. And I want to tell you, this video is about what's going on relative in the news today, but you better keep a lookout because I got highlights from XRP Las Vegas that you're not going to believe. Let's get started. Bitcoin 27,700 plus, 1,800 plus for Ethereum, and XRP is 42 cents. Tether market cap 82.3 billion plus right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started with this. It's May 8th. Bittrex filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection for its U.S.-based operations. The move comes 3 weeks after SEC accused it of operating unregistered securities. This is the SEC still going after crypto like we've never seen before. Take a look at this now. Ashish Birla, board member of Ripple, commented on recent actions taken by Coinbase lately. He stated that Coinbase is transitioning from a crypto exchange to a crypto-enabled banking service. You know, seeing this, I'm reminded of when Ashish Birla talked about the Ripple Liquidity Hub and how the Ripple Liquidity Hub would not compete with a Coinbase, but could make a market back end for a Coinbase. And what I see from Coinbase in this news here, shifting to what Ashish Birla refers to as a crypto-enabled banking service, I believe is a look into where the world is going to go, right? You're going to have to move into this cross-banking kind of new wave banking style service to be able to exist in a regulatory framework. And I believe, not to put words in Ashish's mouth, but I believe this is exactly what he's pointing to here. Payment processing, more evidence of the same thing here is what I'm seeing, ladies and gentlemen. Payments processing firm Stripe is launching a new hosted fiat to crypto on-ramp in an effort to make digital asset purchases easier. Again, if we're moving to this kind of nuevo banking service with crypto incorporated, everybody, whether you're a payments platform, a crypto exchange, a bank at some point, you're going to have to integrate these assets to bring the service full circle integrated into your business model, no matter who you are. And I think that's where we're headed here very soon. And Deloitte, the top 4 consulting firm, accounting firm, has integrated blockchain technology to allow customers to store verification credentials in a single digital wallet to streamline the typical inefficient verification process. Look, I don't know about you, but I'm getting really excited hearing and seeing this kind of motion take place in this space because it speaks to me in a way from an early investor in this space. It speaks to me in a way that I see a real market forming here. I see a real framework that I can actually almost touch now to see how these things are going to fall into place. And I'm very excited about it. And I know that there's a lot of other people out here that are anti-bank, anti-establishment, that don't want any of what I'm discussing. And I understand that and I respect that. And I think you'll still be able to find a way to do that for yourself. But for me at 52, I like seeing this from an investor angle here. And then there's this digitization of currency has given government unprecedented powers to surveil and control economic life. And this really comes from U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And listen, These dangers are serious. We already see what China has done with the Chinese yuan. The next crucial step here is the rest of the world getting their digital currency, their CBDC, designed properly to where they don't infringe on our rights. And I think we all know that we have a very valid concern that the United States get it right. This is why I lean so heavily into what Chris Giancarlo has talked about from the Digital Dollar Project chair, because we have to respect the constitutional privacy of every citizen. And I believe that should be across the globe too, ladies and gentlemen, because the U.S. digital dollar, if it's like the Chinese yuan, to put it quite simply, we won't have a country anymore. And that frightens the hell out of me, because the powers that be really do love control. And when they're in control, they see it okay to do it to us. So I have to wonder who could be a real leader here as we move at some point in the future to a digital dollar in the U.S., and it may be a few years off. But nevertheless, it's just as important that we get it right no matter when they roll it out. Now, this is the one thing I wanted to say here. There's an upcoming Bitcoin conference, and I tell you something, I'm sure it is going to be phenomenal, and Bitcoin will be on the spotlight once again as Robert F. Kennedy, as you can imagine, U.S. presidential candidate, chooses a cryptocurrency conference in Miami as the venue for his first public appearance as a presidential candidate. Now, let me say this very quickly here, because think of this for a moment. Whether you like him as a presidential candidate, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Whether you like Bitcoin, it's irrelevant. What is relevant, however, is that a presidential candidate has chosen a cryptocurrency conference to really launch his first appearance as a candidate for the presidency. And you know what that means to me? Whether it's him or whether it's someone else or whoever wins, I can tell you this, cryptocurrency is a major talking point of the campaign for every single president, and CBDCs as well. And that tells me patience is the name of this game. It is coming, ladies and gentlemen. When you see that a presidential campaign is encompassing and embracing these points and topics, it is absolutely coming our way. We just have to work very hard together to make sure it comes in a way that it doesn't infringe on the rights of others. Meanwhile, Bitcoin users in El Salvador, the first country to adopt mass use of Bitcoin as legal tender, have used Twitter to highlight the increasing limitations that rising transaction fees are exerting on their ability to make daily transactions. And this is what we were in fear of a long time ago. When they first announced it in El Salvador, what did we say? We worried about the fact that Bitcoin is not really geared to serve as a real payment system. It doesn't mean it's worthless. It just means in this particular regard, you're looking at the limitations of this right now. Rising transactions, longer settlement times. Look, I'm not saying this to beat it up. We've spent over 2 years looking at the SEC versus Ripple case and over XRP, the digital asset, and we've had to entertain some pretty gut-wrenching ideas about outcomes that none of us want, right? And that's what we try to do here. And we're doing this here now. And I see this and I feel for El Salvador and the people there, because I'm concerned that this could end badly for people there that don't have a very strong economy to begin with. So I hope the people of El Salvador are seeing this and making the positions and adjustments for them and their families, so you don't get caught if this thing goes wrong. And it could go very wrong very quickly with high transaction fees beating up the citizens there. Canadians are being asked to submit what features they want to be included in a potential digital Canadian dollar, with country central bank opening a consultation to the public. Say it isn't so. They're actually asking the people for their opinion. Well, this is a lot different than a truck stop, isn't it? Yeah, that's all I'm saying, because, that was what they did there. They didn't ask the people's opinion about all those truckers, though, did they? Now, you better keep your eye on Canada, because I have to wonder if that public comment period even means a thing at all. Sending the best to all my Canadian fam up there. The global value of CBDCs could grow dramatically from $100 million today to $213 billion by 2030. Think about that. This is according to a new report from Juniper Research. The future of money is digital. And you could obviously get deeper into the article here by Ripple. And shout out to Ripple for their sponsorship at XRP Las Vegas. And shout out to Brad Garlinghouse, who was amazing. And I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss that next video. I've got stuff lined up for you. But look, this speaks to where we're going. We are in a transformation. You know, when something changes, it can change back. But a transformation is when something changes and it never returns back to the way it was. This is absolutely a transformational moment that we are watching happen in our financial system with governments. And I believe through that transformation, we better watch very closely, because I believe you will see certain governments adopt certain value protocols to ensure that that transformation is secure. And I think that's where we have a great window to see things like RippleNet, ODL, things of that nature, the ledger be recognized as some of those important pieces to the future we're moving to. Meanwhile, back on the geopolitical stage here, Saudi Arabia joining BRICS would accelerate Chinese yuan's use of trading currencies. Yeah, no kidding. And that's the problem. And I also believe, too, that, you know, we know the petrodollar, the agreement with Saudi Arabia from Kissinger is really what elevates the status of the U.S. dollar. And I believe that this is a period of time. I don't think you turn this off next Tuesday. But again, to point to that transformation, that coexisting phase we're about to move into from a single global reserve currency to a multipolar global reserve currency status. And I remind you, this is not unheard of. History has spoke to this before. If you go all the way back, in fact, to World War II, when the pound was the global reserve currency, and then it transitioned to the U.S. dollar, there was a period of transition of about 12 to 15 years there, where there was a multipolar existence there of currencies that were used. And I believe we're about to see that time approach us again. And it may be over years that we watch this happen, but nevertheless, I do believe that is the moment we're watching take place. The success of BRICS coalition would hurt U.S. living standards and diminish America's global standing, says ex-JP Morgan executive. And that was John Wolfenbarger. And you know what? I think he's absolutely dead on here. But look, I've also seen another article, and I don't think I pulled it up here, but nevertheless, no, I didn't. But here's the point. Yes, this is very real. And yes, I believe it will cause the United States, and I don't believe Saudi Arabia gets to do these things with joining BRICS and that without the blessing of the United States. I believe all of this is a coordinated effort, understanding there is an enormous strain on the U.S. dollar. But again, if we develop a CBDC that respects the constitutional rights and privacy of the citizens that hold that dollar and make this country as great as it is, then I believe you'll have a successful digital dollar in the future. I do believe that that's possible. And I do believe there's a strain from BRICS coalition wanting to de-dollarize from us. And I understand that as well. But the largest impact on the immediate front for us, I believe, is right here at home. It's with the banking crisis, right? It's with the collapses and the runs that we're seeing. And I don't believe that that's over yet. And I don't mind adding, I'm not an economist and I'm certainly not a financial advisor, but I also want to share with you the idea that if the banks are going to collapse and we're going to see more runs, and I do believe that we will, what happens to the stock market? Are we suggesting that a bank run and collapses can continue without the effect traveling and rippling effect into the stock market? I don't believe that's true at all. I believe it has to be something that is felt across all markets. The African Blockchain Report from 2022 reports CBDC in collaboration with South Africa's Standard Bank reveals that Ripple and XRP are already utilized in 13 African countries. That is fantastic news, ladies and gentlemen, and we absolutely love hearing it. The adoption continues all around the world. And this here from Meta Lawman, shout out to you, James Murphy. In the U.S., when it comes to the SEC, the process is the punishment. Ripple will spend $200 million in legal fees defending itself from the U.S. or from the SEC. Imagine if that $200 million had been spent on research and development and other jobs in the U.S. It's not supposed to be this way. Not here. Well said. Meta Lawman. Take a listen to Brad Garlinghouse.
So what's your message to the SEC chair as you sit here in the UAE and in Dubai announcing an expansion of your business to this region, given the state of regulation in the United States right now?
Who? No, I'm kidding. All right, so look, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I find it as a company that started in the United States and as someone who's a U.S. citizen, it's sad. Like, I have sadness about this.
Yes.
The U.S. is getting past not just a little bit, but by a lot. And, but the tough thing about this is you have a country that I think has put politics ahead of policy. And, that's not a good decision if you're trying to invest in the economy. You're seeing, certainly here in the UAE with VARA, the Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, certainly what's happened recently in Europe with MiCA. The United States is definitely stuck. And Ripple, the case with the SEC, we will spend, the first time I've shared this publicly, by the time it's said and done, we will have spent $200 million defending ourselves against a lawsuit, which from its very beginning, people were like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. You have video footage of the chair of the SEC as a professor at MIT saying 75% of these digital assets are commodities. And now he says they're all securities because he's the head of the SEC and he's seeking power and he's putting power ahead of sound policy to grow an economy in the United States. Blockchain technologies are being invested in and pursued in the entrepreneurship outside the United States. And one of the first pieces of advice I give entrepreneurs when they come and ask me, hey, I'm getting something started, I'll say, if I were you, I would not start in the United States. And I think there's a lot of US-based companies and even US public companies that would agree with that.
I tell you something, shout out to Brad Garlinghouse. Look, I mean, this guy takes time out of his day and his amazingly busy schedule to come meet with us and to give us all what we need to hear, because I tell you something, I do believe we're going to win, and so does Brad Garlinghouse, and I know some of you have seen it, but here we are standing right here, and I've known for weeks he was going to come, and I had to keep it top secret because he is a very important figure, and we wanted to do I had a strategy for this conference. I wanted to create an undeniable experience, and I tell you, I didn't want just a conference. I wanted that undeniable experience. And the only way to do that is to underpromise and overdeliver. And I believe that's exactly what we've done, because you know what? There's a reason you only saw me on stage for the opening remarks and the closing remarks. It's because I am a person who wants to elevate this entire community. Regardless of the fact of how much I'm attacked every day because I'm a YouTuber in this space, regardless of the fact that the reason I'm attacked is because I'm enthusiastic and I'm curious about what's to come and I'm permanently bullish on this technology, it's okay. I don't have any concern about that. If you see nothing else and take nothing else away from me from this conference, you know that I am a community builder. I am a developer, but not of computer software and code. I am a developer of community. I am a developer of people and bringing them together and elevating what I believe are the rising stars and the standouts and the high-profile people who have been of note in this space. And that's what we brought together this weekend. And it was just absolutely priceless for me to be able to walk into that room and see so many amazing people tell me that they were happy that we did this and that they were so excited to be able to come and talk directly to John Deaton and Eleanor Terrett and ask them questions, and Jack McDonald and everyone else was there, Joe Dodoso and everyone else. I tell you, I am still in awe of the amazing people there. And I want to say this very quickly too. I had so many, almost 500 people come up to me. And every one of them either said thank you or talked to me about what they intend to do when things moon. And none of them said they wanted a big watch or a Lambo. And I was blown away by that. It was more like doing better for their community, helping their family, buying their mother a house. these are the kind of people that are in this space, and I am in awe of you. Take a listen to this clip.
Here. Look, I've said to a bunch of you as I have met a number of you tonight, I'm here to thank you. And I appreciate that you're thanking me, but I'm here to thank you for all that you have done to support this effort. Truly, it does take an army. And this army has been incredible in support. We're going to win this thing. Yeah!
Oh, it was such a moment. We got to love the cool guy. He was incredible, and he was a great moderator for the question and answer segments in our show, too. So many people to thank on that, and we're going to get more into that in the next video today, so don't miss it. I'm so grateful. Danielle and I are overwhelmed with gratitude by all of the overwhelming response from every one of you. I tell you what, we did it. We really did it, and we did it together, and we couldn't have done it without you, and we certainly couldn't have done it without Brad Garlinghouse. And Brad, thank you. I'll catch all of you on the next one.